All right. Welcome back to Formula 602. I got Kate and Groot.
He's here.
And we're going to cover the Austrian Grand Prix, which I'm just going to call Red Bull's home race. I think that's fair, right?
Home race. It is their
So-
home race. It is considered their home race.
So is there any chance that Red Bull doesn't win?
No. I mean, I think Verstappen's won it 3 times in the last, 4 or 5 years. Oh, and we did it. We've jumped up on the couch. Perfect. So, yeah, I think he's won it the last 3 or 4 years. Or he's run 3 times in 4 or 5 years. I mean, he's just too good right now.
So everything I've read says that this is kind of like a really technically difficult course that's also mixed in with just like dead ass straightaways.
Yeah, and it's a long one. I think it's one of the longest of the tracks. Only spitting facts here, guys. We're 100% correct all the time. So, yeah, one of the longest tracks.
So the way I'm kind of thinking about this is like the most technically perfect driver is Verstappen, and the fastest car is Verstappen's Red Bull. So if you have a technically difficult course and 4 DRS zones,
It's Verstappen.
yeah, right. Red Bull wins, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Sergio's also done well here. I think Leclerc won last year, or was it 2 years ago? Leclerc did well at this track once, a few years ago. But I have seen a lot of talk about the Mercedes looking better the past few weeks, feeling better. I mean, obviously they still haven't been able to even get close to Verstappen, make it a race. But there's been a lot of talk with Lewis this week, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm trying to apply what little knowledge I have from a third of a season of racing here, and
Right.
it really kind of seems like the kind of spot where Ferrari could have an advantage over the other big teams, just because of the skill of their drivers.
Right.
The Ferraris have shown some of that straight line speed. It's not Red Bull speed, but they're faster than everybody else on the straight lines. So maybe something there. The prices aren't great. I think the bet that I saw that I was the most interested in was Verstappen. Here, let me just look at it so I'm not guessing. It's Verstappen and Perez both to finish top 6 in the sprint.
Okay.
At 3-1, and I figured just with Red Bull's speed, why
That's
not?
pretty solid. Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, I could foresee them going 1-2, especially here. I mean,
Does home track matter at all? I mean, it's not like actually a home track, or it's just owned by the same guy.
yeah, I feel like it's weird. With me, it's funny because a lot of them have home tracks, right? Like, because they grew up in Europe or they grew up wherever the race happens. So there's that home track, but like when they talk about it's a home, I think it's that just the sponsorship of the track is that right. So there's the historically Mercedes track. This is the Red Bull track. So it's their home track, but Verstappen's not from Austria. So how often does he run that race, that actual track? I don't think they practice on those tracks. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, the familiarity, if they did, would be super concerning to me.
Right.
Just because, he's got X amount of qualifying laps to feel it out. And if you have any kind of advantage there, that would be massive, but if it's just in name and ownership and not necessarily venue,
I think that is what it is. I do believe.
Yeah, I still think that the Red Bull guys are probably both podium.
I think we've said that. I mean, Verstappen right now, I mean, it's just the same thing every week, but I mean, he's too good. No one has tested him. And it's not even for me what the crazy thing is like, we can't just say like, oh, he's better, like, oh, he keeps winning. Like, no one has even tested him. Like, he's winning by lengths that are unheard of. Like,
Yeah.
he's not just beating everyone, he's demolishing everyone. So until people can at least start even getting close, it's his race to lose, right? Rather than other people to win. So,
Well, and I think that's what's been so interesting, even though it has been so lopsided, is that he's so dominant. And it's not just him as a driver or just the car, it's both.
right.
And you've seen it with him and Perez. Like, Verstappen's car is the better car. I mean, you only have so much engineering hours, right? So it's clear which car is getting all that work, but it's impressive to see in two cars that should all intents and purposes be identical, how much better one is than the other.
Right. Well, and that goes back to the drivers. You know, I do find it interesting though. Like, I mean, this year has been a little weird, but a lot of times, right? If one of the, it's hardly what I'm trying to say. It's hardly unheard of that one of the racers is really doing well and podiuming, like, you know, on the podium or getting in the points, and then the other one is doing nothing. It definitely happens. I mean, McLaren, LOL, though I love Danny Ricciardo, like, he was finishing so far back every week last year, and Lando was at least ending in the points sometimes. But it's you don't see that super often, you know, like Red Bull, it's usually 1-2 or 1-3 unless they crash or something bizarre happens. Mercedes, it was always, you know, it's been relatively the same thing for years. So, you know, the engineering, obviously the cars, it goes into the cars for sure. The cars matter. But yeah, the drivers, I mean, I don't know. It'd be fascinating. I saw this article and I was reading about it. If, like, the argument was, if Lewis was in a Red Bull right now, what would these races look like? Like, would Verstappen be as completely dominant as he has been? And as a Lewis fan, right, I instantly want to be like, no, like, it's the cars that are holding Lewis back, not the racer. But is Verstappen just that much better? I mean, I don't, you know, we don't know, but
Hard to argue anything right now with how big they've been winning. It's
totally.
You can form all kinds of arguments, but at the end of the day, it's like if you win a race by 18 seconds, it's pretty convincing.
Totally. It doesn't matter. Yeah, 100%. It's so true.
So, because picking winners has gotten to be not fun, give me your worst team.
Oh, poor Sargent. I mean, Williams, it's funny because I feel like Albon has been getting up there, landing in the, like, close to points, and being in a Williams car. I mean, I've loved Alex Albon for a while. He was on Red Bull. I know you weren't watching way back when. I don't think he got a fair shake at it. I was super pissed. Like, there were 3 races he was going to podium. One of he almost would have finished first, and Lewis, like, flipped him around. I mean, he got in crashes 2 weeks with Lewis. It was really crazy. And then got dropped back down. But I feel like he's proving to be a great racer in a not competitive car. But I mean, Sargent's just last about like every week. So I guess Williams.
I'm going to go for the narrative because I want the narrative. We got Red Bull going 1-2 on Red Bull's home track.
Yep.
So I have AlphaTauri finishing 18th and 20th.
Okay. I could that.
Yeah, because Sargent's going to come in 19th. But I got AlphaTauri being the worst team of the weekend.
Which is crazy because they're the feeder team, right, for Red Bull. Like, it's so fast.
Same engine, right? Red Bull builds their engines, or
supposed to be the same. That's the thing I don't understand. Man, it just goes so much into, like, above my head of what it takes to build these cars, and then what. I mean, I don't know. Also,
you think the engine is everything.
Well, it's always my favorite that, like, Red Bull is a team that's, like, dominating, right? And they're not a car team. Like, right, like, Red Bull has nothing to do with cars. Mercedes at least is cars, and like,
Red Bull was Jaguar, right? Ages ago. I think that's who they bought the spot out from under. I'm assuming most of those engineers are still around.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the history of the sport, but
that's before me too. It was Red Bull.
But what everyone forgets that Red Bull gives you wings. And
That's all I know about them. Oh, so that might be why they're doing so well. It's not about cars.
a little flight down the straightaways.
It's the angel wings that do it. Also, I think you owe me a shot. I think my shots outweighed themselves.
Yeah, I might have already been in the bag when we were talking about our bets. So why don't you remind me, and I'm just going to assume you're correct and grab a shot glass real quick.
Yeah. So mine were that Russell screwed me. They did not book the points. So that would have been my shot. But what was it? But no, I wasn't Verstappen. Mine was Lewis would finish on the podium, and he did. That was when he got third. So my shots outweighed themselves. Yours was that you had a out the wall one and it didn't work out.
Oh, it was the kid to podium.
Okay.
Shit. Orange car, McLaren. Lando Norris to podium. Yeah, I was drunk.
Mexico.
All right. Not an ad, no free ads, but this is just to show you how awful this is going to be.
What is that?
This is a South Shot Original Barrel Aged Small Batch Bourbon Whiskey, and I think it was $8.
Are you just trying
for
to
a fifth
bottle? Is that where we're at?
Well, I rolled this is one of the bottles on our shot rack, and only 602 people are going to understand what the hell the shot rack is, but I rolled for it, and that's what I got. So, cheers.
Oof. Sounds good. Yeah, I was just on a quick little tour, and I was doing tequila shots every night, multiple shots, and I was like, "You guys, I don't drink this much."
Yeah, it's never a good thing to brag about the amount you can drink. I would rather get drunk off a couple tequila shots than spend $200 at the bar.
Well, that's me. I'm not quite one cup Kate, but I'm not like that far off still.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't get better at drinking as they get older unless they're alcoholics.
All right, so now that we're shotted up, do we got another bet for this week?
Anna, how bold you feeling? I think we should do AlphaTauri against Williams. Heads up.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so
for worst. So you win if your team does worst.
No, you win if your team does better. Okay, wait. So either driver, whichever has the best or the worst, which one are we going?
If we go best, I want to change my pick. I legit have AlphaTauri at 18 and 20. They're not going to be good.
Okay. All right. So I'll take Williams. You take AlphaTauri. Whoever has the worst driver has to do a shot.
All right. I'm in.
Finishes last.
with a Red Bull chaser.
I love that. I'm in 100%. I'm going to have to buy Red Bull now.
Oh, yeah, same. We try not to keep the super caffeinated beverages in the house.
Yeah, I mean, I only do Celsius now. So.
Oh, fancy.
I run.
Never had one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
They're really
I'll try one.
Not as bad. Like if you look at the straight up ingredients, there's way less.
Yeah.
A lot more vitamins, way less things trying to kill you. But I know that's not necessarily. That
is so far down the list of health concerns that I have is like what additives are in my energy drink.
I would love to know. There's this app, Yuka. We're getting very off for F1, but there's this Yuka app where you can look up the additives of what you're eating. Like you just scan it, tells you. And it's fascinating. Like some of the things that I was like, oh, this is super healthy. And then you click and it's like, poor, do not eat. I was like, oh no.
It's all in the advertising.
Shopping list. I have a feeling Red Bull, I doubt it would even be on there, but it's definitely scoring zeros.
I mean, I think ingredient number one is water. So, body needs hydration.
It's got to be good for you then. Yeah. I feel that. All right. I like that bet. I'm in. That feels fun. Shot for whoever does worse. Whoever does worse is the winner.
It's the winner. Yeah.
Yep.
You're
So
looking for slot 20.
I got you.
Watch, somebody will crash and like Mercedes will be worse.
Can you imagine if it's like Verstappen? If it's Verstappen, we both have to do shots.
That's fair. That's fair.
Double Red Bull chasers.
Verstappen doesn't win by 15. We should just do shots.
Love that. All
All
right.
right. Austria this weekend. It is a sprint event. So there's qualifying Friday, sprint Saturday, race Sunday if you're on USA time. Early race.
Yeah, Austria is pretty far into Eastern Europe, so
It's going to be okay, though.
yeah.
We got this.
Are you excited? Yeah, Groot's excited.
Groot, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, most important. Oh,
Formula 602, guys. We'll catch you next time.